When it comes to the beef between Thug's YSL and Lucci's YFN crews, I've already made several videos that go into incredible depth about it. In the latest of those videos, my over 3-hour deep dive into the Young Thug and YSL trial, I also break down the history of the Atlanta gang scene starting from the 2000s. So if you want all of the context behind this, you can go and check those out. But for the purpose of this video, all you really need to know is that both YSL and YFN are Atlanta gang sets with alleged ties to the National Blood gangs, with YSL allegedly led by Young Thug, hailing from the Cleveland Avenue area and being allegedly at least somewhat affiliated with the East Coast-based Money Murder Blood Gang, while YFN, allegedly led by Lucci, is a faction that's allegedly part of a larger set called ABG, aka the Atlanta Blood Gang, which hails from Summerhill and Peoplestown neighborhoods, and it's primarily associated with the West Coast originated Inglewood family gangster bloods, also known in Atlanta as the IF Gang. Now, once upon a time in the early 2010s, the different blood gangs and sets in Atlanta were seemingly relatively friendly with each other, this including also YSL and ABG, whose members would even make a music video together, like Thug from YSL and a rapper called Bloody J from the ABG, who would even put out an entire project together called Black Portland in 2014. Unfortunately, in the following year, in 2015, everything would change after the infamous murder of Big Nut, real name Donovan Thomas, a highly respected member of the IF Gang and a music industry insider, who had helped launch the career of YFN Lucci himself, with Lucci signing to the local Think It's a Game label in 2014 when Nut was a key associate. Nut's murder allegedly was committed by members of YSL, although the Fulton County prosecutors would ultimately fail to prove this during the YSL trial. This killing would launch the city of Atlanta into a bloody war between these two factions and their affiliates, while also making YFN Lucci and Young Thug each other's worst enemies. At the same time though, YFN Lucci's music career would begin to garner some significant mainstream attention, with songs like his 2016 anthem Key to the Streets featuring the Migos. But while Lucci was on his way to becoming a household name in rap, just like Thug, he couldn't stay away from the streets, and as the prosecutors would later claim, at some point Lucci's YFN crew and the broader ABG Atlanta Blood Gang would even begin making street connections all the way in Miami, Florida, where they would get affiliated with a gang hailing from the Liberty City neighborhood in North Miami, more specifically the Liberty Square Public Housing Project, also known locally as the Pork and Beans Projects, or simply the Bean. This gang set was known as the Bloodhounds, or BH, not to be confused with the Chicago-based crew of pill-crushing, chain-snatching demons with the same name. Particularly Lucci would seemingly become close with local rappers from this set, like the rapper known as CP3, with the two even releasing music together like the song No Love, which would get a music video released on the 25th of December 2020. But unfortunately, their collaboration wasn't just limited to music, because about 2 weeks before the release of the music video on December the 10th, Lucci, together with CP3 and two other Bloodhound affiliates from Miami called Litty and DaBaby, were driving around Atlanta in Lucci's Maybach. Police would later recover a video from that day where one of the occupants, DaBaby, would tell the camera how they were going to F this city up. According to reports, Lucci, who was the driver, had taken himself and his Miami hitters to the 900 block of Dimmock Street, which happens to be in the hood of the set known as 4PF, who were primarily Rollin' 60s neighborhood Crips, and of course best known for the affiliated rapper Lil Baby, who for a long time has been good friends with Young Thug, with the prosecutors later pointing out how the Rollin' 60s in Atlanta had become affiliated with YSL, while also having a rivalry with the IF Gang. What followed when Lucci and his partners from Miami pulled up to 4PF's hood was captured on security cameras. At about 5:15 PM, the Maybach driven by Lucci would pull onto a shoulder, at which point CP3, real name Ravon Boyd, and DaBaby, real name James Adams, would allegedly open fire on several men, striking a 32-year-old victim in the abdomen, who would thankfully end up surviving. But shots were also fired back at Lucci and his crew. One of the bullets ended up hitting DaBaby, aka James Adams, in the head, critically wounding him, and not long after, Adams was apparently manually ejected from the car, in other words thrown out, and left dying on a nearby street, with a recorded 911 call capturing the terrifying moments after the shooting when a female bystander would find James's almost lifeless body.
We need an ambulance. Somebody is laying out. Somebody, I don't know if he barely.
Let me connect you on the line.
Somebody just threw him out of the car. He shot in the head. He just took his last breath, man.
Given that Lucci had been driving his own luxury Maybach for this spontaneous crash out, he must have had a pretty good hunch that he was out on borrowed time. But still, between the shooting and his eventual arrest, he would sit down with DJ Vlad for an interview that would later be dissected by both fans and law enforcement.
YFN Lucci, welcome back.
What's happening? How you feeling? How you been?
In the interview, Lucci revealed the dangerous reality of his situation in Atlanta, admitting that he had to use a bulletproof vehicle for protection.
Bulletproof? GMC?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what's up.
Yeah.
When asked about the ongoing feud with Young Thug, Lucci's response seemed to suggest that their beef was beyond repair.
And the two of y'all, you and Thug have been kind of doing their back and forth. I mean, when you fired off the gun, he was making some comments on it. Is there any way that y'all could work it out?
I'm saying, what up?
Whatever issues y'all got, and I don't know what the issues are, but could it be worked out? Y'all do some music together?
We nothing to work at.
But fortunately, he wouldn't get a chance to slide on YSL though, because in January 2021, Atlanta police officially announced charges against YFN Lucci, revealing that they were seeking him on felony murder, aggravated assault, participation in street gang activity, and possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony charges. The announcement came with the news that the two alleged accomplices, 17-year-old Leroy Pitts, aka Litty or Lism, and 23-year-old Ravon Boyd, aka CP3, had already been arrested in Miami with assistance of federal authorities. Just over a month after the December shooting, Lucci would turn himself into the police, and surprisingly, despite their heavy rivalry, Young Thug showed some support for Lucci, posting a video with the hashtag #FreeAll on social media, saying that he didn't want to see anyone locked up, op or not, with the implied message perhaps being that he would rather have him outside, where he could get his own YSL goons to deliver street justice to him. Lucci's defense immediately pushed back against the charges, emphasizing his client's innocence. And while his bond was initially denied, a month after his arrest, Lucci would celebrate his release after posting a hefty $1 million bond.
I had to switch the jacket inside out, man. I didn't want to come out the same way.
But then, in May 2021, just 4 months after bonding out on the murder charges, the Fulton County grand jury would deliver a 75-page, 105-count Rico indictment, ensnaring Lucci and a dozen other individuals, including ABG members like the rapper Bloody J and Lucci's Bloodhound associates from Miami, in a sprawling racketeering conspiracy that dwarfed his original charges.
Here, an Atlanta rapper, among a dozen others, indicted on racketeering charges as part of a massive gang crackdown. And that is our top story. Police say the charges are all related to the Bloods gang activity spanning over a decade.
The December shooting that had initially landed him in jail was no longer a standalone case, as it had become just one piece of evidence in a massive racketeering conspiracy, where the prosecutors used Lucci's and his YFN crew's affiliations with the ABG and the IF gang, as well as the Bloodhounds from Miami, to string together numerous different crimes and overt acts to paint a picture of a dangerous interstate criminal enterprise.
I formed a gang task force in 2019 focused on prosecuting gang members under state anti-gang laws. So that actually helped the Fulton County District Attorney's Office land this indictment, 75 pages, 105 counts in total, all against 12 men allegedly associated with the Bloods gang in Atlanta and Miami.
In a move that would become increasingly common in hip-hop related prosecutions, Lucci's own music videos and lyrics, as well as social media posts, became key evidence in building their case.
Comes up in February of 2020 when he appears to throw up gang signs and use certain lyrics in a music video called Shine On.
Specifically, the music video for Shine On, featuring both YFN Lucci and Bloody J, was cited directly in the indictment as proof of their Blood membership. Prosecutors pointed to social media posts showing Lucci in the notorious Pork and Beans projects in Miami, arguing that simply being tagged in such locations proved his leadership role in the interstate criminal enterprise. The Rico indictment brought additional allegations, including an earlier August 1st, 2020 incident where Lucci had allegedly strangled and beat up a man for simply playing the song of an op, and you probably don't have to think too hard to guess who that op might have been, before allegedly then paying the guy off to avoid getting charged. And Lucci was also accused of tampering with evidence by hiding the vehicle used in the December shooting that had caused the death of his friend from Miami. Unfortunately for Lucci, the violence that had defined his life on the streets of Atlanta would follow him behind bars. The notoriously dangerous Fulton County Jail is one of the largest correctional facilities in the country, housing nearly 3,000 detainees with various criminal and gang affiliations. The jail has become infamous for being a hub of violence and contraband, where weapons are reportedly easy to obtain.
Lots of makeshift weapons, including shanks, even a makeshift hatchet, cell phones, even a bullet, suspected drugs.
In just 2023 alone, the facility recorded a staggering 1,293 stabbings. On February the 9th, 2022, surveillance footage inside the prison captured one such violent encounter, where Jaden Myrick, also known as Setrip, a reported member of Young Thug's YSL gang, attempted to attack YFN Lucci with a makeshift shank. Lucci fought back, and a physical struggle between the two ensued. Continuing down the stairs, where Lucci managed to wrestle his attacker to the ground. The gruesome altercation lasted almost 2 minutes before a security guard finally intervened at a relaxed pace. The prison officer's body camera captured the aftermath of the incident, and Lucci was heard confronting his attacker, calling his attacker's actions sucker stuff, and asking him why he didn't want to fight fair, saying that he got stuck.
Hey, chill out, bro. Nah, that man just snorkeling me. You don't suck.
Put it down.
I didn't want to go straight up.
Move. Listen, if you stab me, I ain't gonna step back.
close. The attack left Lucci with survivable injuries, and almost a month later, TMZ would report about a filing that Lucci had made due to the stabbing incident. This was an emergency motion for bond. The motion would detail the attack against Lucci, stating that his team was trying to investigate how it was possible that another inmate was authorized to be out of their cell despite Lucci being in protective custody. The motion would also reference another earlier case where another inmate had tried to harm Lucci, but his plan was stopped by a third inmate, before concluding that Lucci has been told that there's a bounty on his head and that his life is in danger, which is why he should be granted a bond. The news that Lucci had seemingly told authorities that there was a price on his head would spark some online debate about whether Lucci's legal move could be considered snitching, mainly due to the fact that the YSL indictment specifically referencing Lucci as being the target of an assault that was allegedly carried out on behalf of Young Thug, while also including another allegation that 2 other YSL affiliates had discussed obtaining permission from Young Thug to make a second attempt on Lucci's life just weeks after the first attack. WAC 100 would raise the issue on his Clubhouse show, questioning if Lucci was cooperating with authorities because his name appeared on the victim side of the case rather than a defendant.
Lucci on the victim side. Lucci know everything. So Lucci telling?
Hey, I don't know about that, but
these in here representing that's telling that's what's going on?
no, I don't.
They represent up with all them. They ain't got shit. That's weird. Country. Y'all about to start.
You don't even sound country right now. You call it country. Saying
So
half
Lucci
country
got on
brain,
that video
got a
and said
country
he
mind.
feels.
I'm just saying, he keep bringing up Lucci name. Like, why?
Lucci said he feared for his life, but his lawyer say he feared for his life.
Lucci told the lawyer he feared for his life, dummy.
Oh, is that telling?
Damn.
That's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm
He
saying.
wrote out
Lucci out, bro.
county.
However, following the stabbing, Lucci's lawyer consistently and publicly stated that his client did not want any cooperation deal and he had refused to testify against Young Thug, with Lucci refusing to sign cooperation documents and firmly shutting down any speculation that he was testifying in Thug's trial. With regards to Lucci's own case, by December 2023, 7 defendants on the Rico case would accept plea deals, leaving 3 out of the original 12 defendants to take it to trial, one of those being Lucci himself. Then, in January 2024, Lucci made a deal of his own, with the state dropping 12 out of the 13 charges against him.
Is it your decision to waive these rights and enter a guilty plea because you are in fact guilty?
Yes.
How do you plead to count 69 in indictment 23 SC 188921?
Guilty.
Lucci was sentenced to 20 years with 10 to serve, also receiving credit for time served and a crucial letter of support from DA Fannie Willis recommending early parole. Finally, on January the 31st, 2025, YFN Lucci walked out of prison a free man, having served his time without snitching, not even on his ops. And as a response to the recent revelations about Young Thug's alleged telling, fans would create lists of Atlanta rappers who had been locked up but never snitched, with Lucci's name appearing second on the list, right behind Gucci Mane. Now with a reputation as one of Atlanta's most solid gangster rappers, he'd been spotted coming out of jail, being picked up by his family in a fresh Rolls Royce and enjoying his newfound freedom. And he's had massive success with his first single he dropped since his release, January the 31st, My Truth, racking up a whopping 20 million views in just 3 months. But clearly still haunted by the tragic case where he witnessed the death of his friend. He still owns the original Maybach that shootout happened in and has now turned it into a public monument to honor the progress that he's made since this low. A shrine nearby a display of the car reads, "This is YFN Lucci's Mercedes Maybach truck. It's more than a vehicle. It's a testament to both dreams manifested and obstacles overcome. This automotive masterpiece was gifted to YFN Lucci by Think It's a Game CEO Gervin Fly Henry. Like its owner, this vehicle embodies power, luxury, strength, and now endurance. Beneath its polished exterior lies a deeper significance. This Maybach's legacy is intertwined with a profound loss, a silent witness to the pain felt when beloved friend James Baby Adams lost his life during a tragic shooting on December the 10th, 2020. As we admire this symbol of achievement, we simultaneously honor a fallen comrade who was a pivotal part of the journey. This Maybach now stands here as a monument, so on this next album when you hear the words, "Riding in this Maybach cost me 3 lawyers," understand its true history. YFN Lucci did get some flack for lyrics in his comeback song where he appeared to suggest that despite his friend passing away, at least it happened in a luxury Maybach. In 2025, following the exposure of some of the biggest rappers in Atlanta, it's highly likely that YFN Lucci will go on to have one of the most promising careers in the city's history, but only if he stays out of trouble with the law and his enemies. On May the 9th, 2022, Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis charged 28 members of the Young Slime Life record label in a RICO indictment, with prosecutors prosecutors alleging the gang was responsible for multiple murders, shootings, and racketeering activities dating all the way back to 2013. At the center of it all was Jeffrey Williams, known better on the streets and the rap world as Young Thug.
See this coming. Young Thug and Gunna are among 28 people associated with YSL, that's their Young Stoner Life, that have been charged in a 56-count indictment yesterday.
The indictment painted YSL as a violent criminal organization that had terrorized the city of Atlanta for nearly a decade. But what seemed like a straight-ticket conviction against one of Atlanta's most notorious alleged criminal street gangs would instead become the longest criminal trial in Georgia history, with a courtroom circus that would expose the messy reality of street loyalty when the walls close in.
So now Young Thug done come out snitching. Young Thug got a video in the interrogation room for 2 hours, having dialogue with the police about crime and criminals, but he don't want to work with Gunna. Come on, homie, look at the hypocrisy.
Giving rise to questions about who committed what crimes, and even, far more damaging by street standards, who told on who.